Welcome to the Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thanks so much for listening. Today, we're talking DACA, California mudslides, and a controversial candidate for Senate. Plus, KodakCoin, Hulu, and Morning TV's newest co-host. All that and much more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Wednesday, January 10th. Today's episode is brought to you by Soul Organics. Soul Organics offers super comfortable 100% organic sheets and bedding, and they're also fair trade certified. That means the farmers and workers have fair and safe working conditions, which is not always the case in that industry. And you know you get a deal for listening to the Newsworthy. Use the promo code ERICA20, that's ERICA20, to get 20% off your entire order plus free shipping. You'll also be supporting the show with your purchase. So find the Soul Organics link on thenewsworthy.com and use the code ERICA20. All right, you ready for the news? Let's do this. DACA must stay, at least for the people who already have those protections. That was the ruling from a federal judge in California last night. The Washington Post reports the ruling stops the Trump administration's plan to phase out the program starting this March. So remember, DACA is that law that protects undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children. They're known as Dreamers, and there's several 100,000 of them. But last year, the Trump administration says it's gotta end. And for those who haven't already renewed, well, the protections will start going away this year. Except that this judge is saying not allowed, that the protections for Dreamers must stick around while a legal challenge is still going on. To be clear, though, the ruling does not allow for new applications. By the way, this ruling came the same day there were high-profile talks between the president and lawmakers about how to handle the whole thing. And the New York Times reports President Trump seemed pretty open to negotiating a deal to find a permanent solution on DACA. But later he said any DACA deal would have to have a border wall for added security. So TBD, what happens next? A very controversial guy now says he plans to run for Senate. The AP reports former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio hopes to get the Senate seat Senator Jeff Flake is leaving behind. Remember, Arpaio first made national news over an Arizona immigration policy that a court said targeted immigrants, and he was convicted of a crime for not following that judge's order. He could have faced jail time last year, but instead, President Trump pardoned him. Now, instead of jail, he'll try for Capitol Hill. He says his reason to run for Senate is to support President Trump's agenda. Steve Bannon is out at Breitbart News. Time reports Breitbart thanked him, but says he stepped down. Remember, this comes after he was quoted in the new book, Fire and Fury, Inside the White House, and the quotes from Bannon did not make President Trump and his family look very good. President Trump fired back, and even though Bannon has since said it was all mischaracterized, he's lost some of his conservative following, and now, apparently, his job at Breitbart. Fire, then floods. Remember the intense wildfires recently in Southern California? Well, as if the people in those areas have not already dealt with enough, heavy rains caused big-time flooding and mudslides. The LA Times reports at least 13 people have died in Santa Barbara County, where the rain sent mud and debris through neighborhoods. Yes, these are the same areas where a massive wildfire came through only a few weeks ago. After a fire, that land is typically less able to absorb all the water, and there's less vegetation to stop the mud and all the debris from flowing down. In both Santa Barbara and LA counties, there were mandatory and voluntary evacuations in place yesterday for thousands of people. A strong earthquake hit in the Caribbean north of Honduras. It was a 7.6 magnitude quake last night that was felt across northern Central America. And for a little while, there was a tsunami threat. Reuters reports that threat is now over, and so far at least, no reports of anyone dying or major damage. All right, other things people may be talking about today. There is now a Charlie Rose replacement on CBS This Morning. It's John Dickerson. Starting this morning, he'll be co-hosting with Gayle King and Norah O'Donnell on the morning news show. Dickerson was hosting the Sunday morning show Face the Nation, but CBS News says he will be leaving that to start the new gig. Remember, Charlie Rose was fired after accusations of sexual harassment. Yet another company is launching a cryptocurrency. This time, the company is Kodak, and the new blockchain thing, KodakCoin. The Verge reports it's only the latest company to jump on the cryptocurrency bandwagon and then see a big stock jump because of it. Kodak says the plan is to use it to help photographers control their image rights. The ICO, or initial coin offering, will happen January 31st. Samsung got the title of biggest spender in 2017, at least of all publicly traded companies. The Wall Street Journal reports Samsung spent $44 billion last year, beating out the usual biggest spenders, Exxon and Shell. The report says this is one example of how technology companies will be investing big time in global manufacturing. More people are now apparently watching TV with Hulu, the video streaming service. Bloomberg reports the company now has more than 17 million subscribers, a big jump from 2016. Hulu says ad revenue went up too, to $1 billion for the first time. But even though it's growing, Netflix is still winning in the subscriber numbers. Netflix has more than 109 million customers worldwide, 52 mil just in the U.S. And that's it. You are all caught up. Thanks so much again for listening. Before you go, I want to let you know there are a couple of different things you can find on thenewsworthy.com. First of all, if you want to read more about any of today's stories, all the links are right there for you. Just click episodes, then today's date. And if you want to enter a giveaway for some of my favorite products, check out thenewsworthy.com/giveaway. There are a couple of different ways you can enter. I'll also be posting about the giveaway today on Instagram, so be sure to find me at the NW Podcast. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen and get in the know every weekday by 4 a.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget, we kick off 3 Question Thursday after tomorrow's news. Until then, have a great day.